So this is the fourth one that we've done. This is really great, isn't it? I've really enjoyed having the opportunity to share with everybody, and I think I got a bit of response back from the last one of some ideas that people wanted me to talk about, to share a little bit more about certain subjects. And there actually was a request for a guided meditation as well. So we'll see how we go. Um, it's fun to do it when it's live, but I don't know how it will go on Zoom. So, but I'm up for it. I'm up for anything. And if it's your requests, of course, I'll honor that as well. Um, the first thing I wanted to share with you guys about, I've got a little list here tonight because, like I said, there was a bit of feedback from the last call, which was really nice. So thank you, the guys that have been sharing with me about what you saw and what would you like me to talk about. What I wanted to talk about tonight a little bit was something that actually happened in the meeting I did last night here. We had a group of ascenders get together, and there was 12 of them, which was really nice. And the first question, I think we talked about this a few weeks ago or a month ago. The first question that got asked was about innocence. I used the word to explain the approach to your practice of ascending, and I used the word innocence. And of course, a hand shot up and went, "What on earth do you mean about innocence?" I love these kind of questions because there's things that I take for granted because I teach, I use these words all the time. But everybody has different connotations about what it means for them, and perhaps different even understandings of it depending on our own background or our own, life experiences. So it was really cool because to me, innocence is always so obvious, but it's not for everybody. It's same as the word play. A lot of people hear the word play and just like, what do you mean? What do you mean play with your techniques or play with your practice? So what we started to share about last night was how the innocence is actually when we don't judge anything. When you're so absolutely able to just allow whatever's in your experience right now to be absolutely okay. The mind's going to say it's not perfect or something needs to change, right? We're talking about energy, we're talking about thoughts, talking about emotions, all those things that we can experience, and yet we'll have this idea that something's wrong and something needs to change. So the innocence to me is actually the lack of judgment. When we notice we're judging our experience, when we notice we're judging something and we want it to change, there's this idea in us that it's not good enough. It's not right. There's still something missing. There's still something I need to do to make this perfect. Or I've missed it somehow. There has to be something else. Those thoughts, which are simply thoughts, these ideas, are what's keeping us from completely surrendering to whatever is in our experience in this moment. This little voice that tells us it's not good enough, that something needs to change, is actually taking our attention away from experiencing the infinite perfection of right now. Isn't that amazing? Because it seems so valid. It seems so worthy of our attention because it's about our freedom. It's about our happiness. So I need to listen to this. And yes, I need to do something else. And the truth is no, those thoughts are still just thoughts. And by us putting our attention on those thoughts, they become real to us. We think them, we believe them, we energize with them, we gel with them, we create stories around them. And then, yes, there's something wrong. There's something missing still. There's still something I'm not getting. God's somewhere else, but not here with me. And so we have this judgment that something needs to be fixed. And it's so beautiful when you get to see that. And that's what I was sharing with the guys last night, is like when you actually see those thoughts in your own experience, in your own time, when you see those thoughts and realize they're not true, and you just let that be a part of your experience too. Don't push anything away. Everything is given to us in this moment for us to simply experience. So don't even push the thoughts away, but just don't put any more attention on them. So you can have those thoughts and you can have energy, you can have emotions, of course, but the absolute embracing of what is in this moment is what gives us the ability to experience contentment. It gives us the ability to just completely rest in this moment, this infinite moment, completely dissolving into the infiniteness and just allow our true nature, our true being to shine. And it's such a beautiful realization that there's nothing else to do, that you can just put down all that trying and efforting and just allow whatever is in your experience right now to be absolutely okay. So I love it when I get to talk about this, because it's like people hear it and then completely connect with it at the same time. It's like the light bulb goes on and goes, oh my gosh, have I really been resisting what my experience is? Have I really been resisting the infinite by simply wanting something else? And the answer is yes. It's crazy, isn't it? But when we realize that we don't need to look for anything else, that all is given in this moment, it's like we put down that trying and that efforting to just allow. And that's where you rest back into your infinite self and just allow it to be. So then the next hand went up last night and said, well, what about when our families want to learn or don't want to learn to ascend? What do I do with them? And I'm like, well, my entire family doesn't ascend. It's just me. I don't care. But I guess for a lot of people, it's a little confusing. You know, we love them. We love our friends. And so there's this desire that if we're experiencing something good in our lives, that we want to help them experience something good in their lives too. So the desire to share is coming out of a passion and a desire to spread the love and the goodness. So, you know, we all do that. But to actually allow people their own path, let them have their own learnings, let them stumble and fall, let them fly in a different direction, is actually the greatest compassion and love that we can give. So it's not about trying to save the world by trying to collect all your family and friends to become ascenders. That may happen, that may not happen. In my case, in my family and most of my school friends, and you know, when I was working in Australia, did not happen. Hardly any of them have ever learned and don't care to. They don't ask me. Don't ask me anything. But I have an immense joy in the knowledge that who they are is perfect, and whatever path they're on and all the lessons they're learning is absolutely perfect too. And who they represent to me is teaching me that all walks of lives are perfect too. That it's not just my path and what I'm interested in that's the only way. Their way could be absolutely stunningly perfect for them too. So again, coming back to judgment, the theme of tonight might be judgments, is realizing when, even out of our own desire for other people to have happiness, when we maybe see them as wrong or see them as broken or see them as lacking something, there's a judgment there that they need help. They need a way out. And sure, if they ask for it, I would give them everything I have. You know, if somebody asked me what I did, if one of my members of my family actually asked me what I did and how ascension works for me or why am I happy, you know, I would talk to them as much as they could possibly listen. There's so much to share about my own experience that I'd have no end of words, I'm sure of it. And same for you. If somebody asked you to share your own experience and your own journey, is the greatest thing you can share to somebody else. It's your truth. You know, it's what you know happened. What actually allowed you to stop judging and hurting and being negative? What actually helped you stop being so reactive? What actually helped you get joy and peace in your life? So it's actually really easy to share ascension and to talk to other people about what happened when you're coming from your own truth, because it's true for you. And but only if they're interested. Otherwise, they're not ready to, they don't want to listen. They're not asking for it. So otherwise, it's like we're trying to push people into experiencing something that perhaps they don't even care about. So it's an interesting balance between giving what's there to be given away, but also in the appropriate time when the people are ready to listen. And that's pure magic. I think too that seeing your world as perfect, you know, having the experience that what you experience inside of you is simple stillness, simple connection with God, and doesn't need any kind of justification or proof. That you just living that speaks louder than words. You become the example of living the light in this world. You become the example of what it is that you actually want. And you don't have to force it or try to put that on anybody. You know, actually, the more dissolved that you are in consciousness, the more dissolved you are in this moment, the least you really care, I guess, about how many people are walking the same path with you. Because you start to experience the perfection within and the beautiful peace and joy within. But the more you dissolve into that, the more you experience that around you on the outside too, in the world. So the less problems you see. There's not a world that's unhappy or needs fixing. There's not people that are struggling and need fixing. I mean, sure, there's situations, but the essence of everything, you start to really, really recognize the perfection there. And that comes from just simply using the techniques, continuously being, what's the word? Diligent? Is that the right word? Diligent to your practice, you know, consistent. And constantly learning and exploring that there's always more. You know, there's no end to this, which is fabulous. The growth of consciousness keeps going, and you start to see little things that you thought were wonderful a week ago or a month ago. You start to see them as perhaps ordinary now because there's more wonderful and magical things to be discovered. Like the growth is continuous. It's pouring outside right now. I wonder if you guys can hear it. There's like a thunderstorm going on. I forgot to close the door. It's really nice. So the last couple of calls, I spoke a lot about thoughts. And this time I kind of want to speak a little bit more about the ascendant. I got to a place, I think on the last call, right at the end, when we were talking a lot about when you move your attention from the thinking and from the thoughts and just allow yourself to just rest in this moment, to discover that gentle peace within. Like, what is that like? Like, why? What is the point of all of this? And I referred back to my meeting last night. It's like I'm bringing it all up again, but there were so many good points, and it ties into right now as well. That one of the people in the room was a relatively new ascender, and was still discovering that, and asking questions like, if every time I use my ascension attitude, every time I use my technique, is it actually connecting me with the source? Is it actually connecting me with the infinite? And I looked at him and I'm like, what an interesting question. Yeah. How do I want to answer you on this one? Because the truth is different to his question, right? His question, I could say yes, but that's not the absolute truth. It sounds nice. Yes, every time you think an ascension attitude, it's connecting you to the infinite source, the God, the divine. And I went, you know what? I don't know if you're ready for this, but I'm going to share it with you anyway. The truth is the absolute opposite. You're always connected. There's not a moment that we have not been connected to the infinite. It can't be. The infinite is everywhere. So all our lives, we've been completely in union with God all our lives, you know? There's not a possibility that we haven't been. It's like it's inside of us. It's everything. It's around us. There's no way possible we could not be connected. All that happened is because we have thoughts and we put our attention on those thoughts. We moved our attention away from recognizing the infinite. So it's not like we're trying to reconnect. That's absolutely not what we're doing. It might feel like that because we're so identified to the thoughts that it might feel like we're trying to recreate or reconnect to God or the infinite or this holy part of ourselves somewhere else. But that's so not true. You know, if that makes people feel good, excellent. But the truth is, you've always been connected. There's no way you can be disconnected. And so union, enlightenment, oneness, self-realization is a natural given for everybody. It's how we already are. All that's happened is we've identified to the thoughts. And so instead of recognizing and resting in what we really are, we're identifying to the voices and believing these voices to be who we are. And so every time you think the ascension attitude, of course, is bringing you back to recognizing or establishing a clearer experience of now. But that experience of now, that connection to God and to the infinite space is always there. It's nothing new. And so I was sharing with this newbie, this new ascender, that no matter what you're doing, you are in the presence of God. No matter what you've been doing or what you've been through in your life, there's been no separation. The separation we have is in our mind. And that's what the techniques do, is to allow us to see the mind so that we stop identifying with this stupid idea that we're something separate, and that we start to identify with who we already are. So the whole practice of ascending isn't about discovering this new space. It isn't about discovering how to be connected. It's recognizing that it already exists and making the choice to rest comfortably, naturally, effortlessly in this present true experience of your true divinity that's always been there. So I hope I'm explaining it right. I feel like I got a bit emotional. Like, but it's really fascinating when I hear that, because I know I was like that too. I know I was so entertained by my thoughts and so identified by it that was true for me. But now with the experience I have of with doubtless knowledge that I am God and that everyone is as well, it's almost stunning when I hear that, to go, gosh, do you really believe that you're the thoughts and that you're trying to find a little bit of peace? Do you really believe that God's somewhere, or the connection's somewhere, and you've got to find it and hang on to it? And I remember when I used to do that too, like when I had a good ascension or a clear ascension, I remember thinking that I had to hold on tight, or I couldn't open up my eyes, or don't make a sound around me, don't move my attention because it's going to be gone. And if you guys have that experience, it's part of the process. It's absolutely fine. And the most beautiful thing is discovering that it doesn't leave you. It never leaves you. It can't. It can't. It's infinite. You're infinite. There's no possibility of you getting lost from that, except for where you put your attention. And the people who are very addicted to the mind and very addicted to the identification of these thoughts, that's all that they're doing. The presence of the infinite is still there. It's just the identification has changed to believing that these voices that say, I'm this, I'm that, I can't, I won't, this is what I like, this is what I do. You know, all those voices, we own that. That's all that's happened. It's so black and white. You're either thinking or you're in the presence. You're either identifying with thought or you're identifying with this magical eternal moment now. You're either believing that this is who you are and this is how you go through your life, or you allow that to simply be part of your experience, but you're completely observing everything and resting in this moment. The practice of ascension so clearly and so directly and so easily and naturally shows us that it's such a privilege to have these techniques and to have the guidance for us to just use the techniques and keep growing with them. I think on the last call, I was talking about alertness, the difference between going through 20, 30, 40 minutes of eyes closed ascending, and off on thoughts, for the majority of that time. And so you're still addicted to the thoughts. That's still the identification of who you are, And with a little bit more alertness, you're naturally resting in the present moment. It's that simple. And yet that dance, that game, that discovery is eternal. And that's where it becomes the absolute joy of discovering who we think we are or thought we were, to discovering this immense, beautiful, eternal peace that exists in us any given time. And all we have to do is allow our attention to reside and rest in this space and live it, So that's exciting. I think that just finished then. That little speech just finished. I'm like, okay, nothing else to say there. So as you can imagine, last night, my little newbies, my little group of ascenders were a little bit, hammered by the truth. but I love it, because it's like, if people come to this practice wanting to discover peace or better health, that guy came because his question was about connection. I came to this practice because I wanted purpose. I wanted to know who I am, why I'm here, what's this all about, and what's my purpose in my life, because nothing made sense. And then when you start to just experience this present moment, and you start to discover what qualities are given within that experience, and when you start to realize you can just reside there and this eternal moment doesn't end, and that you can observe everything in complete peace and harmony without any judgment, without any desire to leave or need to fix anything. Every part of your life changes. There's not one part of your life that remains the same when you simply rest in this moment and live that divinity. Because the small me that's trying to make it in this world dissolves into this beautiful dance of presence of who you really are. And what you're supposed to be doing just naturally shows up. And you know what? When I used to think about my highest desire, or the yearning of my heart, which was, like I just said, to find purpose and find meaning. I think I wanted answers like, Jaya, you're supposed to be a nurse. Or, Jaya, you're supposed to live in the city and do that job. I wanted answers like that, which seems so normal and obvious to me, because I was like, well, that job doesn't work and I don't like that, and I sure as heck don't like those people. And there was a few judgments of me back in the day. And those aren't the answers you get. Those are not the answers you get when you start to live your divine purpose. Because those things will happen regardless. You'll just fall into place, which job you're supposed to do, the people you're supposed to hang out with, that just magically moves and dances with you. That's just part of your journey. But the big questions like, who are you and what is your purpose? Those divine questions, that's where the magic is. Because they don't come to you in a word or a name or a label. They come to you in experiences. Like, what is your purpose in life? How do you get an answer to that? And for me, because that was my burning question, was, and it still is, by completely getting out of the way, meaning completely letting go of those thoughts and those judgments and ideas, and allowing my attention to just be resting completely and utterly in this divinity, without any need to control anything, without trying to force my will and my desire onto this moment. Instead, by dissolving into this, the universe shows me, the universe comes to me in the perfect time, the perfect people, the perfect answers. And it's obvious because it flows. It's so natural and easy. And so in contrast, anytime something's not easy, anytime something feels hard, or I'm pushing something, I'm trying to make it happen the way I want it to happen in my time frame, that's when I know there's probably a little voice there saying, this is what I want, or this is how it has to be. And just having the willingness to completely let go again and just rest back into that infinite divine source, that divine intelligence, and allow that to lead. That's where the magic happens. The right people turn up, the right situations appear, the right, flight is revealed where you're going to go. The right food goes to the table. I don't know. You're in the supermarket and you go, I haven't seen that for a while. Yeah, I feel like eating that. It's the answers come to you. And it's magical because you're not pushing anything. You're not trying to create it, through your own force and will. You're handing it over to the infinite divine intelligence. You're handing it over to God that's inert. Is that the right word? No, it's not. Where's my English? I've been speaking Spanish for about 4 days. My English has disappeared. Intuition, this divine intuition within yourself is leading you in absolute harmony with your life and with the situations around you. So the more, I think I started talking about that at the beginning of this call, the more we can just absolutely let go and allow whatever is in our experience right now, completely surrender to this moment. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, needs, wants, desires, surrender it all and allow something greater to take us. Then without a doubt, you're living your true purpose. That's how you live your true purpose. That's how you live your divine being. That's how you discover who you really are. That's how you live who you really are. That's how you discover, why are you here? What are you here for? It turns up from that place. The answers are in that. They come to you. They appear and become so obvious to you because you're not the one thinking about it and looking for it. It's like the opposite of what I had been trained anyway. I don't know about you guys, but when I went to school, I had to try, I had to be the best, I had to succeed, I had to find the answers. And consciousness, returning to, your beautiful true self is the opposite. Leaving that idea of control and need to just rest in this beautiful space. Become empty of ideas and let divine ideas come to you. Be empty of desires and then just start to see how the universe shows you what you actually really want or what you need. And that's magical. I love it. It's pretty amazing stuff. If you were to write a short essay on why someone should meditate, I don't know if I could write a short essay, actually. There's so many. It's not just magical, and of course there's benefits, peace, happiness, joy. We say it like it's nothing, right? Can you imagine what if it was like about 20 years ago when I was completely stressed out and hating the world and hating people, if I was just to have a little bit of peace back then and to just have a little bit of contentment, oh my gosh, it would have meant the world for me. I would have paid $1 million for that because it just was not in my world before. And so what are the benefits from doing this? It's like everything. What are the benefits? Oh my God, I got my life back. I've become this person that didn't exist before. Well, I guess she existed, but she was pretty much hidden under all the self-doubt and judgments and ideas and, you know, trying to fit in and trying to do the right thing and then hating everyone because it just wasn't working. That doesn't exist anymore. That's really nice. That's just thoughts. It's so stupid. But our journey is discovering that. And that's why it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to see the ideas and then to become freed of them. It's beautiful to see the things that we so strongly hold on to, fight for, you know, I'm right. And then realize that we can let that go and have something greater in our experience. It's amazing to see how we believe strongly that perhaps there's problems with us. You know, I'm not good enough, or I have this problem with my body, or I have this problem in my personality, or, you know, and then to recognize that that's not true either, you know, to recognize that in a painting, there has to be all colors to make the painting beautiful. And so all the colors of humanity are absolutely necessary to add to this glorious thing called our world that we live in. Yes, it's all very nice, isn't it? I'm going to let you guys speak. See if anybody wants to ask any questions or comment on anything. And then I think, what time are we at? Yeah, we'll see how we go, because I might be able to squeeze in a little bit of guided meditation at the end if you like. And that's how I could end the meeting, and you guys can keep ascending if you want. But I want to hear from you guys, because last week we didn't do that, the last time, and some people missed it. So I'm going to unmute everybody. So just be quiet if you're not going to talk to the camera, and whoever wants to share can start sharing. Okay. So is nobody unmuted. Oh, this one. Okay. So you're all unmuted now. Does anybody want to share anything?
Yay!
What?
Look at that.
Oh, now you're useful now.
Oh, so cool.
Well, for this to work, maybe I'll mute you all and just speak if you have something you want to say. You can unmute yourself. Otherwise, I'll keep talking. So recording. Okay.
Jaya, how do we unmute ourselves?
You go down to the bottom. All the options will come up, and you'll see the mute button. Okay. So you're all muted. I have the power. And if you want to unmute yourself, you just click on the button and unmute yourself. Anyone want to do that? Okay, Sri Ravi, did you want to? Okay. Okay, you can speak.
This is Sachi Devi.
Hi, it came up as Sri Ravi as words.
Yeah, that's right.
Hi, Sachi.
Hi, beautiful Jaya, hermosa Jaya. Well, you touched my heart, and I think what you said, it's so beautiful, and it's just what I needed to hear. Innocence, magic, and purpose. So just you made my day, you made my life, and you remind me about why I'm in this path. So I just wanted to thank you with all my heart.
Oh,
Gracias. Love you.
I love you too. It's great to see you.
Yeah, it is beautiful to see you too. Thank you. My heart is just going like. So, gracias, amada Jaya.
Ah, te amo.
Yo también te amo.
Oh, anybody else want to share? Or have any questions?
Yo.
Oh, Who?
Hey, how's it
Gita.
going?
Gita,
Hi, Gita.
hello, hola a todos. A mí me encanta esa parte que compartiste de que no tenemos que encontrar ni buscar nada,
I love that part where you said that we don't have to find anything or look for anything
porque eso ya está ahí todo el tiempo.
because all of that it's already there.
Y para mí ha sido bien sorprendente esa parte porque recuerdo cuando antes siempre buscaba y buscaba y buscaba.
And I remember that part of my experience where I would be looking for something, looking all the time.
Entonces buscaba esa paz, buscaba ese amor, buscaba todo el tiempo hasta que me di cuenta que realmente lo estaba buscando fuera de mí.
I would be looking for that peace or that love, and then I noticed that I was looking for it on the outside.
Y cuando simplemente hice ese stop,
And just when I stopped,
entonces pasa lo que dice nuestro maestro, ¿no? Fui aplastada, atropellada por eso.
and then it just happens what Maharishi told us, that peace, that love just hit us.
Entonces simplemente para mí es hermoso esta enseñanza también. Soy la única que lo practica de toda mi familia también.
So simple, so easy that I just love about it. From my family, I'm the only one that has learned to ascend.
Y es hermoso porque toda mi familia lo puede ver.
And it's beautiful because all my family can see the difference.
Pero también yo también dejé de luchar porque ellos estuvieran así o descubrieran esto.
But I also stopped struggling, trying for them to find out for themselves.
Y ahora simplemente lo que hago es que cuando estoy con ellos, los amo así como están porque son esa misma esencia que hay en todos lados, que está en mí, que está en todos.
So what I do is I just rest in that present, knowing that they're that essence as well.
Porque había una ligera idea que si ellos no practicaban esto, entonces ellos no eran esto.
Because I realized that I had an idea that if they didn't practice this, that they could not be that or experience that essence anymore. But I realized that they're that essence all the time.
Y es maravilloso ese recordatorio constante que lo pones aquí a la mesa, ¿no? En este momento.
And I just love that reminder you bring into the table right now.
Porque definitivamente, pues es así, está en el aire que respiro, está en absolutamente todo y es maravilloso.
Because it's in the air, it's in everything around us all the time.
Uh-huh. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Sí, muchas gracias. Yeah, isn't it amazing when we start to realize that, you know, we have the judgments that people aren't doing what we're doing, that somehow they're wrong or lacking something, or, you know, and it's so beautiful to realize that that's not actually true, that everybody's on their own divine path. And when you can see the divinity in them, regardless of what their actions are or how they speak, you know, you're looking at God. You're looking at their greatness and honoring that without them needing to change. You know, due to circumstances, you know, you might invite change to happen. You know, if somebody's really angry all the time or just doing stupid things or whatever, you might encourage them to look a different way or see things differently. But they're no less connected to the infinite than you are. They're no less God than I am. It's like we're all the same, and it's the most beautiful thing to realize, because then you realize we're all on the same plane level. You know, there's no one higher than and lower than. And when we see the people around us like that, the beggar on the street, the poor people, the rich people, the people who do different jobs than us, or higher quality jobs or lesser quality jobs, that we're all the same, we can just appreciate them for who they are, what they're doing, and how they interact with us and teach us how to live better lives. So everyone's our teacher. Everyone's showing us how we can love each other absolutely completely without the judgments. So yeah, it's a stunning realization when you start to see those judgments and start to let them just fall away naturally. Does anyone else have anything to share or to add or to ask any questions?
I do.
Ah?
From Devadasa. Can I do it?
Yeah, I can't. I'm trying to put you on. I'm trying to get the camera on you.
Okay.
Devadasa,
Yes.
I'm Alexis. Could you give me a moment?
Sure. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Ladies
because
first.
thank you. Hi, Jaya.
Hola.
Hola. Let me see you. I don't see you now.
I'm here.
No. Let me see you. Sorry.
Did you have something you wanted to ask or something to share?
Yes, because it is just about what you were talking on Gita, because that brought me to a question. And it is about relationships, between wife and husband, because I have a myth, I have a thought that because I see that many couples, many Ishaya's teachers, Ishaya's teachers are couple, and I was trying to look for my Ishaya partner, and if I can find the perfect, if I see the perfection everywhere, or if the perfection is everywhere, as God is everywhere, so I don't have to look for any Ishaya. I just have to be free to let the right person to come into my life, right? But I'm thinking that you get Ishaya.
So is your question, do you have to be with an Ishaya?
Is it better for you if you are in the right path? Is it better for you to engage into a relationship with an Ishaya? Or, I don't know.
No, I can answer that. Jaya does marriage counseling. No, it's a good question because, it can get a little confusing, can't it? And obviously, when you're on your path of growth, you want to do what's good and right for you. So, I mean, I get it. There's no rules. There's no rules. A lot of people are attracted to like-minded people. So if you are focused in one direction, often it's easy or easier perhaps to have your partner focused in the same direction too. Then you've got a lot in common. I'm married to an Ishaya, so I can't give you an alternative answer. But what I do know is that the fact that we can share our experiences, we can reflect to each other, and we understand what that is. That he can be very honest with me, and I understand where he's coming from and what he's doing from my experience. People who don't do this practice might not understand that and might take it more personal than I do. Hopefully I don't take it personal. But when your relationship is based on like-minded things, well, then obviously you have a lot in common. But it doesn't mean it has to be ascension. It doesn't mean that because you ascend, it has to be an Ishaya that you're attracted to, or that's going to walk, your life path with you. It could very easily be anybody else. And, your part of your path could be to be willing to share your conscious experience with someone who's walking a different path and their discoveries of consciousness too, without it being through the bright path. And there are relationships out there like that, and they work. So there's no rules. When you do move into a relationship with someone, regardless whether they meditate or don't, or are part of the bright path or not, this meditation, the thing that ultimately gels most relationships, even ones that aren't very conscious, is the desire to just know each other, to love each other. And typically that's the foundation underneath every union, right? is that there's, even though, like I said, you start to have a experience, you can have an experience of seeing God in everybody and seeing this divine beauty in everybody. But it's like the universe places someone beside you that's supposed to be more intimate or more closer to you, because we all need guidance and reflection too. And sometimes that will be the reasoning why that person is beside you, to love you and allow you to love yourself, for you to give your love away. There's so many reasons why we enter into relationships, but the growth that we get from that is always for us to love ourselves more. We think it's about the other person, that we're giving to them, but we're giving to them because we can give to ourselves. You know, a relationship teaches us how to love ourselves first, really, and how to be solid in our own truth, how to be able to have this beautiful experience of love and connection within ourselves first, and then give that to our partner. And when relationships get uncomfortable or hard, it's because that part gets forgotten. When people make it about the other person, and that person is supposed to be giving me something, or telling me how wonderful I am, or making me happy, well, that's when relationships get complicated. Because now I'm not secure in myself, I'm not loving in myself, I'm believing this person's going to give me that. And so then the relationships can become really complicated, because we actually have ignored the strength within ourselves and the beautiful love within ourselves. We've ignored that and dependent on someone else to show us that. So regardless of whether the person who shows up in your life is an Ishaya or knows the bright path techniques or not, the greatest thing you can do is learn to love yourself, because the more you love yourself, the more you can give that away. And so when that's in an intimate relationship, you already have that love. You already are experiencing the beauty of who you are. You already honor yourself. And then your partner is something that you give someone, hopefully, someone that you give that to. So it's actually the opposite of perhaps relationships before I learned to meditate, because I really believed that in the past the relationships were about meeting someone who was going to make me feel good, you know, meeting someone who was going to treat me like a princess, or, you know, so it was about him making me feel good and showing me that I was lovable. And I have no power in that. All of my power is given away to if that person even looks at me or talks to me or not. And that dictates to me if I'm happy or sad. And there's no freedom in that. And there's no consciousness in that. And there's no unconditional love in that. So the unconditional love is learning that within yourself first, and then realizing that the person that you spend intimate time with, like your partner, is the person you gift that love to. You know, as well as everybody else in your world. You know, it's a love that's very full and able to be given to the world. But the person that stands beside you, that's somebody that you spend your time exploring what unconditional love is all about. So there's no dependency there. You know, that's pure love. So yeah, play. You know, who knows who's going to turn up and who's going to, you know, make your heart sing. And no, it doesn't have to be someone on this path, but definitely it should be hopefully somebody that you really just connect with and have that base. But that base is to just start loving each other from. Oh.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
I had a couple, and but I felt inside myself that I needed to be alone. I don't know for what time, for how long, but I needed to be alone. And here I am. I'm on my own way, and I'm enjoying that trip. I've been suffering. I've been going through many thoughts, but I enjoy the adventure because I'm being on my way. I'm feeling, I'm learning to be free. I don't know. I'm doing my own path.
Yeah.
And thank you very much. Thank you very much for this chance.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. And you know what? Often the subject about love and relationships come up, and it's something everybody gets a little tangled in, and so it's a really cool subject to talk about, actually, because I mean, regardless if it's an intimate relationship or even just relationships with your friends or work people, you know, we just get them twisted sometimes when we're trying to get something from them. And you just said it perfectly. Is like, you know that it's time for yourself right now, and you know, just trust that inner intuition that, you know, you don't have to go looking for anybody. The right person's there in the right time will appear. It's just magical how it happens.
Yes, and you can feel when you want someone to pay attention to you or to get into a relationship with you. You want to get that, and that's not freedom. You're not allowing that person to be free. You're trying to get something out of him, and that's not what you want for you. So that's not what you want from him.
Yeah.
So let him go his own path. I'm going to go my way. If we meet sometime, or I don't know, okay, but I'm gonna go. I have to do what I have to do for myself.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're very clear. You're very clear about where you're at. Yeah, just trust that.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Anyone else got anything they want to ask or share?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Who's this?
It's me, Brahma.
Ah!
I have a question, and I'm really enjoying these calls. Jaya, it's fantastic. From time to time, we get asked as teachers or ascenders to put our energy in a certain area that's having some difficulty. Like right now in Canada, there's the forest fires in British Columbia, and we've been asked to, I don't know, put energy there. But I'm reluctant to do that because I just see it all, and I do my, I don't know. It doesn't feel right to do that somehow. I'd like to hear what you say about that.
Oh, I'm probably going to get in trouble here. I'm with you, Brahma. You know, I mean, I get it that people say, hey, send some healing energy this way, or send some loving energy to help this area or whatever. So I get it where people are coming from, and it's a beautiful thing. And if people want to, by all means, you know, go for it. But there's something greater than that. And the greatest purpose of all of humanity, the greatest purpose of all of us, especially since we know how to simply let go and rest in this moment, is to become intimate with the divine. And when we try to move our attention to a certain place, believing it's wrong and needs help, you know, there's an idea there that there's something wrong there and it needs helping, which means, you know, maybe the universe has made a mistake here and that's wrong. I mean, it's kind of an interesting thing, because it's not like we're placid and we just don't do things to help improve the world or to improve ourselves. I mean, we always are. I mean, that's the whole purpose of growth and conscious growth, is to the evolution of who we are. We're waking up and expanding and growing in our awareness and our unification with God. But if we see problems in the world, we're part of the problem, honestly. And that's a quote from MSI. It's one that's a little bit of a hard one to swallow sometimes, because the desire to help, you know. But when you see something that needs help, in the sense that there's a judgment there, that there's something wrong, then really it's the judgment that's holding the energy. The idea that there's something wrong and that I can help fix it, there's the energy behind that is actually that there's something wrong, right? And so the very basis of this whole teaching is dissolving that idea that there's something wrong, and recognizing that in this moment, in this present moment, that everything's actually perfect and unfolding perfectly too. So coming from this platform of recognizing that everything's in its own divine perfection and unfolding exactly how it's supposed to, and nothing needs to change, from that platform, do what you need to do. You know, pick up the phone and call a fire truck.
Yeah.
What is doing with the fires in British Columbia? I don't know. Give a bucket of water and give it to a stork that's flying. Go to Vancouver.
Fire truck, but first I gotta get into the stands.
But the idea of moving your attention to help energetically is a nice idea, but the greatest thing you can do is let go completely everything into the infinite. And Maharishi talks about it all the time. You know, the greatest healing is to give it up. Give it up to God. The greatest love is give it up to God. The greatest I don't know, stopping fires in British Columbia or helping the planet in certain areas is give it to God. Give any thought, any intention back to the universe, and allow that to operate in its perfection, you know. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you. That's all I need to hear.
Good to see you guys there. Oh my gosh, it's been an hour. How does it happen so fast? Should we go a little bit longer tonight? Or does people want to go? You can just click off if you want to go. It's fine. I'll just go keep chatting. I promised you to do a little bit of guided meditation. Is that cool? Do people want to do that now? Why I like doing this, and maybe that's why the request came in, is when I do retreats and things, this is something I really love to do. It's kind of like the exercise of watching the mind, but it's obviously more guided. And why I like to do it this way, I'm going to play with you guys, is because when most people close their eyes to ascend or meditate or do whatever they're doing, most people are still thinking quite a bit, which is fine, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But if I can guide people a little bit more during the eyes closed experience, there's a tendency for people to be able to remain in this present moment longer. Okay, so my little interruptions every now and again is simply so that people can see when they've gone off on thought, to simply bring their attention back into this moment. Now, like I said, I'm not going to use the Ascension Attitudes because this video is going to go up, probably available either publicly or invites, I'm not sure yet. So I'm not going to use the Ascension Attitudes, but you guys use them when I say use your Ascension Attitudes. But I'm not going to explain them. What I'm going to explain is how to be conscious. Okay, so let's just play for about the next 10 minutes or so. If everybody who's here right now just wants to close their eyes, I'm going to put this on gallery so it's not just looking at me. If you want to just close your eyes. And what I'm going to do is talk us through how to be present and conscious, okay? So be comfortable with your eyes closed. And with your eyes closed, I want you to just be aware of your shoulders. Just relax your shoulders. Relax your facial muscles, you know, your eyes, your mouth. Just be aware of just relaxing. And with your eyes closed, it's as if you're looking out through your eyelids, but they're closed. So you're just looking straight ahead. Okay, very simple. This isn't rocket science. And for most people, when we have our eyes closed and we're just looking forward, there's just nothing there. It's black. For most people, black. Maybe there's some lights or a little bit of colors or things moving, but it's okay. Just be aware of looking forward with your eyes closed. And there's simply space there. Now that space is everything. That's the connection. That's That's the infinite universe. That's where the peace resides. That's everything. That's the goal. And yet it's often not good enough for all of us. We're still looking for the angels and the magic. But with your eyes closed, just rest in that. You're hearing my voice and just allowing your attention to be present. For your attention to be present, you're just a little bit alert. You're just watching. Watching what? Just watching that space. Just observing whatever is happening for you. Nothing needs to change. Now think your first technique. And just continue to observe. I want you to be aware that when you're observing, you're not trying to change anything. You're not looking for anything. You're not doing anything. You're simply gently alert, resting, and aware of the space. And even me talking doesn't take you out of that space. Noise doesn't take you out of that space. That space is simply there. There's nothing to find, there's nothing to push away, nothing to resist, nothing to look for, nowhere to go. Just simply allow your attention to be right here now, observing, watching, that nothingness, that space. Think your next technique. And just continue to watch. And as you're just simply watching, what is it like for you? Be curious. Is it peaceful? Is there space? What's happened to the thoughts? Are they there? Are they kind of like in the background? Have they kind of faded away or slowed down? Or are they still really strong? You can watch that too. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong answer. It's simply observing, just like a video camera, without judgment. Are you noticing that it's okay and easy to just allow your attention to be right here? Does it feel restful? Or does it feel like you're trying? Just relax and just watch. Think your next ascension attitude. And just allow whatever's happening to be absolutely perfect. Allow whatever is in your experience right now to be there without any resistance. Just allow. Allow the space. Allow the alertness. Allow whatever's happening to be perfect. I want you to recognize in this moment, if you're simply just with your eyes closed, just watching that space, allowing whatever's there I want you to recognize that you aren't doing anything. You're not trying. You're not forcing thoughts out. You're not doing anything with thoughts, actually. Who cares about thoughts? I want you to recognize how gentle this is, to just simply be, to simply be present. And I want you to recognize for yourself that you can stay in this moment, in this space. Think your next ascension attitude. And simply stay alert to this moment as you open your eyes. Anytime ascension appears to be hard, all that's happened is the alertness has faded away and our attention's actually in the thoughts. We're trying to control the experience, trying to do it, trying to get back to the space. Yet, with that little bit more attention, a little bit more alertness, ascension is supremely, supremely effortless. And so, for our practice forever is to recognize if we're battling with the 20 minutes or an hour of meditation, all that we've done is put our attention in these thoughts and we're listening to it. All we need to do is simply let go, be present, and allow whatever's happening. It's kind of like stepping back and just allowing whatever's there to be there without any control or resistance to any of it. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's something that we grow into because of the tendency to identify with the thoughts as being who we are, and the tendency that most people have of trying to get something right. You know, we're trained that way. And so, you know, it's something we learn and we keep playing with. But I think the most important, I was saying that so much last night in the meeting, the most important thing is to recognize in your own experience that you can. You know, you can do it. You can have a quiet ascension. You can have more alertness. You can step back from the thoughts and just observe. You can have a relationship with the stillness, with that space. You can experience peace and connectedness. You can have the harmony and the sense of fulfillment and contentment in your life. And when you know that in your own experience that you can, then that's everything, because it's no longer a concept. It's yours. It's your living experience. And one of the purposes for guided meditations that I do anyway is simply to give people the experience that they can have these longer moments of ease and contentment within their practice, no matter what they're experiencing. And if that was just like 10 minutes just then, and if you got a taste of that, then you know that you can apply that to your practice at any given time. You know, eyes open is often a question too. If we do that with our eyes closed and find it that easy, and continue to practice that way, so we continue to explore the ease of our practice. The eyes are open practice is exactly the same. You know, people try and I complicated it for many years, trying to make something visually enlightened. I wanted to see something and believe those were my results. And it's not given to us that way. The eyes open practice is to be simply present I mean, consciousness can't be anything else than being conscious, right? It makes so much sense when you say it out loud. So it's not about trying to make an experience happen or trying to get it right or think your ascension attitudes over and over again. It's about being present, being conscious, and recognizing that you're not thinking, and then think your techniques from that place. But because your eyes are open, there's more stimuli out here, but it's natural. Movement does not take you out of the stillness, out of the space. Sound does not take you out. You know, we live in a world where we're in the infinite. You cannot get out of the infinite. So these things that we believe make it hard. You know, it's the belief that we're identifying with. So with our eyes open practice isn't that, I keep forgetting because there's so much going on. No, it's the identification to thought. Again, that's why the eyes open becomes hard, because we haven't transcended the attachment to thought. And so the practice of eyes open meditation is to realize when we're thinking to simply, again, engage the present moment, regardless of what we're looking at, regardless of what's going on around us. That does not need to stop at all. So the balance between the two, the eyes open and the eyes closed practices, it should keep you very alert, actually, if you keep doing it all the time and playing with it all the time. And it's a game to explore it and to see where is your attention, and to start transcending that addictiveness to thinking and the ownership of those thoughts. You know, they're not yours. They're not ours to own. Who wants to own those? Yeah, so play with the eyes open practice as well. Play with the ease and the gentleness and the alertness with the eyes closed practice. And, you know, magic happens. It becomes so obvious that you can simply reside in the stillness, in that space, and stay there, you know, regardless of how much movement's happening. Emotions, thoughts, sounds, none of that pulls us out. It's not like that. It's a movement of awareness. That's all. Okay. Well, once again, I love how we always send off. I love when everybody says goodbye from where they are. So I'm going to click myself off, but I'll unmic everybody. And as you guys sign off or chat or whatever you want to do, if you want to say hello and where you're from, I think it's really gorgeous because it just shows how big this platform is using Zoom, how we can connect with people all over North America. And I think that's beautiful. So I hope you got something out of tonight. It's always a pleasure to do this. I love it. Okay. That's Jaya saying goodbye from Saltillo, Mexico.
Avram from Colorado says goodbye.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye de Los Ángeles. Bye. Bye.
Goodbye.
Buddy.
Out in Ontario.
Bye from Vermont. Hi,
Bye.
Linda from Monterrey, Mexico.
Bye.
Magic from Ontario.
There's some people there. From Juarez, Mexico.
Bye-bye de Los Ángeles, California. Bye.
Bye, guys. From Ontario, Canada.
Okay. She's one of my teachers.
I love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Diane.
Say hi, Diane.
So we okay?
Oh, yeah.
Such a
Ay,
day.
Marlene, hola Marilyn. Hola Marilyn. Marilyn. Ya se fue, la asusté.
Baby.
Ay, Marilyn. Bye. Bye, Anna.
Bye, Sri Ravi.
Bye.
Bye. I'll miss you. Soon.
Bye, Mita.
You look awesome.
Love you.
People are,
Love you guys.
Hola, chiquita hermosa. Amita, you're getting younger.
Yes, see. It's the Soma.